morning, and thanks a million for joining me on the yoga mat this morning. This week's focus is on mobility, and I guess just to kind of start with the difference between mobility and flexibility. A lot of people come to the mat to gain flexibility, which is great in itself. It's all about stretching into the muscle fibers and creating that kind of lax within the tissue if the muscles have gotten really tight. But mobility is more about releasing and engaging the muscles around the joints to encourage a better range of motion within the body. So there's a lot more going on with our mobility work. So flexibility in itself isn't enough, strength in itself isn't enough, and mobility kind of ties it all together. So this morning's class, we're going to do a little bit of everything. We're going to try and get moving. We will start with a bit of mat work, but we'll also do a nice slow practice toward the latter part of the class. So I'm going to invite you to come to a nice, easy, cross-legged seat. And if it's not easy, feel free to sit back onto the heels. We're going to relax the shoulders back. Sit nice and tall into the spine. Relax the breath. Maybe tuck the chin slightly to release into the back of the neck. And just noticing where our breath is at. Noticing if we're holding it. Notice if it's caught up in the chest. And just see if we can draw it a little bit deeper down into the belly. We're actually going to use that belly breath this morning to help mobilize into the core or into the trunk of the body. As we inhale, press the chest all the way over to the right. We'll bring it through center all the way over to the left. And as we exhale, tuck the chin, we're going to round between the shoulder blades and continue with your own breath. Nice full circular movements. Taking the gaze forward as we inhale and then back toward the belly as we exhale. Pressing the heels of the hands into those knees to draw ourselves a little bit further forward. Press ourselves a little bit further back. Nice deep bend into the elbows. So we're rolling into the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, maybe even the head and neck. And again, just coming back to that breath. Allow yourself to breathe freely with the movement. So ideally in and out through the nose, but feel free to sigh it out and just release any tension that we're holding within the body this morning. So again, just using the movement to create a little bit of space into the joints. And then we'll meet back at center. We're going to reverse the crisscross of the legs. Palms are rested, and we'll inhale, press the chest to the left through center, all the way over to the right. And as we exhale, tuck the chin and around and continue. Nice deep movements into the body. Again, really feeling that lovely space into the lower back as we press the chest forward, feeling that lovely stretch between those shoulder blades as we draw back. And again, exaggerate those circles. Just trying to get as much blood flow and energy into the body, into the movement. And then finally, we meet back in seat. We're going to open the palms to the ceiling. And then inhale both arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to the ceiling. As we exhale, press the palms forward and really stretch between those shoulders. We'll do that twice more. So a nice big stretch. As we inhale, take the gaze up. And as we exhale, press forward and release. So we'll do that once more. Arms are right back in line with the ears. And then exhale forward and release. We do a little bit of spinal mobilization. So we're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up. And as we exhale, gently twist to the right. We'll place the left hand just above the knee and the right hand on the ground behind us, really close to the lower back. See if you can walk the right hand around the body, almost like we want to touch the outside of that left hip. So we're really drawing that right shoulder back. As we inhale, press the hand into the ground, lengthen. And as we exhale, gently twist, looking over the shoulder. Starting that twist in the lower spine, moving it into the ribcage, into the chest, and all the way out through the neck. Lengthening tall on the inhale, releasing, opening on the exhale. Nice full belly breaths. We'll take one more breath on this side. And inhale back through center, little twist to the left just to release, and then back to center again. We're going to reverse the crisscross of the legs once more, balancing out those hips. We'll open the palms and then inhale both arms out, reaching up. And as we exhale, gently twist to the left. Place the right hand above the knee, left hand on the ground, nice and close to the lower back. Again, maybe see if we can bring that hand around to almost touch the outside of that right hip. As we inhale, press the hand into the ground, lengthen. And as we exhale, gently twist, looking over the left shoulder, pressing that right hand into the leg and giving ourselves a little bit more leverage into the twist. Drawing the belly button in, really trying to engage with that core. And again, our twists are a lovely way of mobilizing into the spine. Getting rid of any rigidity, any stiffness. Nice full belly breath. Keep drawing those shoulders away from the ears. One more breath. And then gently inhale back through center, little twist to the right just to release, and then back to center again. We're going to pick the right foot up. We're going to place it into the left hand. Draw the toe toward the knee, right knee into the right hand. See if we can bring the shin a little bit taller or a little bit higher, but try not to collapse into the spine. So still nice and tall in the spine. And we're going to gently rock into that right hip really slowly. So we're looking for range here, not speed. I want you to slow the movement right down. Not being afraid to draw that knee a little bit further back, maybe draw that foot a little bit further across the body. And just noticing how that feels in the hip. A little bit into the hamstring here as well. And again, just being kind to the body, not forcing the movement, but not being afraid to see where that end range is. So the hip's going to stop us really before we can go any further in this one. Easing into those joints. And eventually we'll meet back at center. We're going to bring the right foot all the way over to the left, land the foot to the ground, and then see if we can ground that right sit bone. So both sit bones are grounded. We're going to wrap the left arm around the leg. We're going to wrap the right arm around the left leg, and we're going to hug that leg tight into the body until we feel that right hip release. And again, if we want to bring in a little twist, we can look over the right shoulder. So it's a very gentle twist. It's definitely more about that right hip here. Lengthening on the inhale, again looking over the shoulder on the exhale. But the more we twist, the more we're going to feel that into the right glute too. Relax the breath. One more here. And then gently release back to center. We're going to bring the right foot out front. We're going to bring that left foot out to meet it. Feet are wider than hip width distance apart. Hands are behind us, fingertips point back. We're going to press the hands into the ground, really open, strong into the heart here. We'll inhale at center. And as we exhale, drop the knees over to the right as we look over the left shoulder. Inhale back through center, exhale, knees drop to the left as we look over the right shoulder. And continue with your own breath. Hands are nice and close to the body, so we're not collapsing, we're still engaging with that core. And the feet are wide enough apart that the opposite knee has space to fall behind the opposite foot. And we're trying to get those knees as close to the ground, if not to the ground. Mobilizing into the inner outer hip. Getting a little bit into the sideways. If you want to engage with the core a little bit more, you can always bring those hands to heart center. Taking the aid of the hands out of the movement. So we're having to engage with those core muscles a little bit stronger. Looking over the opposite shoulder, so we're getting a nice little upper spine mobilization as we twist. And relax the breath. Finally coming back to center, we can shift your way back onto the mat if we've come off it, and we're going to come back into our easy crisscross legs. Picking the left foot up, we'll place it into the right hand, knee into the left hand, draw that toe toward the knee so we're keeping that lower leg nice and active, and maybe bring the shin a little bit higher. Gently rock. Again, maintaining that lovely length in the spine. So imagining a piece of string attached to the crown of your head and it's drawing you tall toward the ceiling as you work into that left hip. So we're maintaining that lovely core connection, even though the focus here is on that left hip. Again, if that right foot's in the way at any stage, feel free to straighten the leg or place it anywhere where you feel you have a little bit more stability in your base. Again, slow it right down and really tune into how this feels compared to the other side. Is it a little bit more restricted? Maybe it's a little bit freer moving. So again, just noticing those little points of tension, little imbalances, using the movement itself to try to iron them out. But if not, just noticing, knowing that maybe it's something we need to address. For now, just looking for that end range. Eventually, we're going to meet back at center. We're going to bring the left foot all the way over to the right, place it to the ground. Again, see if we can get that left sit bone grounded. We're going to wrap the right arm around the leg, left arm around the right, and then hug that leg tight into the body as we sit nice and tall in the spine. And we're going to look over the left shoulder. As we inhale, lengthen. And as we exhale, twist a little bit more to the left. And again, really feel that into the left glute here. So again, it's a gentle twist, more about that left hip. The more we twist, the more we're going to feel it into that left hip. We'll take one more breath. And then gently back to center. We're going to bring the left foot out front. We'll bring that right foot out to meet it. Again, feet are wider than hip width distance apart. Hands are behind us, fingertips point back. We'll inhale here. And as we exhale, drop the knees over to the right as we look over the left shoulder. Inhale back through center. Exhale, knees to the left as we look over the right shoulder. Continue with your own breath. So this is a really nice one, particularly if the hips are very tight. Just gently mobilizing, going as far as feels good for you. And you might notice sometimes those knees come all the way to the ground, sometimes they don't. Maybe one does and the other doesn't. So it's a really nice way of just checking in to where those hips are at. Next time the legs drop over to the right, we're going to pause and we're going to face to turn over that right knee. See if we can adjust those legs so that there's lovely 90-degree angles at the ankles, at the knee and at the hip. We're going to place the hands either side of the right leg, press into the ground so we can adjust that right sit bone, that we're centered over the right leg and we're not collapsing out to the right. So nice and strong in the core here. That might be enough, maybe pressing that left inner thigh toward the ground. If we feel we want to go deeper, we're going to inhale here, and as we exhale, we'll walk the hands forward out in front, sinking the body weight over that right leg, maybe coming onto the forearms, maybe walking the hands a little bit further forward, resting the chest to the leg, resting the head toward the ground or to a block. Just make sure it's supported. We might make a little pillow by piling one hand or fist on top of the other. So as we inhale, we're lengthening through the spine, and as we exhale, fold. So whether we're sitting tall or whether we're folding forward, thinking about that length within the body on the inhale and depth on the exhale. Relax the shoulders, relax the arms, relax the hands. Again, really feeling that into the right hip, but still pressing that inner left thigh toward the ground. One more breath. And gently tuck the chin, slowly walk the hands back toward the body. We're going to stay here. Placing the left hand just above the right knee. We're going to swoop the right arm around the lower back as far as we can go, and then gently look over the right shoulder. So again, another nice little spinal twist. Pressing the left hand into the leg, see if we can go a little bit deeper. So we should be feeling this from the right shoulder, diagonally across the body and into the left hip. If we're not really feeling it into the left hip, just scoot that left foot back a little bit further. Try not to collapse into that right arm. So we're inhaling length and exhale opening. Nice full belly breaths. And again, use that belly breath to really expand into the core. One more here. And then gently, we're going to inhale back through center. And as we exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Again, adjust those legs until we've got 90 degrees at all the leg joints, ankle, knee and hip. Looking over the left knee, we're going to press the ground either side until we can adjust that left sit bone so that we're centered and we're not falling off to the left. And again, we can stay here, pressing that inner right thigh toward the ground. That might be more than enough, maybe pressing those hands into the ground, lengthening. If we feel like folding forward, getting a little bit deeper into the hip, leading with the chest, walking those hands out front, maybe coming down onto the forearms, maybe walking the hands a little bit further and resting the forehead to the ground, to a block, or maybe making a little pillow by piling one hand or one fist on top of the other. Again, noticing if we're collapsing over to the left, see if we can shift the body weight slightly to the right. So we're getting a little bit of balance here in those hips. Every inhale lengthening through the spine, and every exhale folding a little bit deeper. Relax the breath, relax the head, relax the neck. One more breath here. And then gently tuck the chin. And slowly walk the hands back toward the body. Staying in this shape, we're going to place the right hand just above the knee, swooping the left hand around the lower body, and then gently looking over the left shoulder. Pressing the right hand into the leg, drawing ourselves a little bit deeper. Left hand is nice and close to the body. And again, notice if we're feeling compression in that lower back, I want you to really draw the belly button in so we're engaging with those front of core muscles. If we're not feeling it so strong in that right hip, you can scoot that right foot back. Every inhale lengthening, every exhale opening. Nice full belly breaths. One more on this side. And then gently inhale all the way back to the front. We bring those feet together and we're going to come to lie back on the ground. Just make sure you have your block and your strap there beside you, just in case we need it. So slowly lowering our way down onto the ground. Knees are bent, feet are flat to start with. We're going to hug the right knee in, get a nice little squeeze. And then we're going to rest the right ankle just above the left knee, coming into our figure four. Draw the right toe toward the knee. We're pressing that right knee away from the body, grounding the lower back. We're going to lift the left foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling. And either interlocking fingers around the back of the left hamstring, or if we find we're compressing into the chest or we're coming off the lower back, you can reach for your strap or towel and wrap it around the back of that hamstring. So it's a nice little extension of the arms. As we inhale, walk the shoulder blades together. And as we exhale, draw the left knee a little bit closer as we press the right knee away from the body. And just notice what direction that right knee is pointed. So if it's pointing over the right shoulder, see if we can have it pointed either out to the right or even slightly forward. So we're really working into that right hip. We're going to inhale, straighten the left leg up toward the ceiling, draw the toe toward the face, keep it up there, and as we exhale, point through the toes. So we're inhaling, drawing toe to face, and then exhale, pointing through the toes. And continue with your own breath. If this is too much on the hamstring, feel free to soften the knee, and we can still work into our ankle mobilization. I want you to really exaggerate that movement. Relax the shoulders, still drawing the left knee toward the face, still pressing that right knee away from the body. We might make a few nice big circles to the right, painting those circles with the big toe. And again, often what's happening in the hips has quite a consequence on what's happening in the feet and ankles and vice versa. So it's really important that we listen to both. Notice if there's any little niggles along that chain. We're going to reverse those circles opposite direction. And the more these circles we do into the ankle, you're going to feel all those lower leg muscles engage and release. And the more of them we do, we start to feel those muscles fatigue. So you know you're working a wee bit of strength here too. Slow it right down. And then come into stillness, we can release the strap off to the side, bend the left knee, allow the heel drop, still hugging the left knee in. And if you have that accessibility, you want to go deeper, you can interlock the fingers around the front of the left shin, but just make sure those shoulder blades are grounded, that lower back is grounded, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the grip, release the left foot to the ground. We'll cross the right leg fully over left, easy crisscross legs, extend the arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. We're going to shift the hips a little bit to the right and then allow both knees drop over to the left. Nice little spinal twist, taking the gaze over the right fingertips. Shoulders are glued to the ground, so even if it means coming out of the twist and working back in. And if you feel you're not fully in the twist, just shift the hips ever so slightly to the right, and that might create a wee bit more space. Nice full belly breaths here. In and out through the nose. Maybe using that left knee to draw the right leg a little bit further across the body. If we want to go a little bit further into the left hip and quad, we can always walk the left foot out a little bit further and maybe even catch hold of the front of the foot. But keep grounding that right shoulder and keep drawing that right leg across the body. Nice full belly breaths. Softening into the pose on each exhale. 1 more breath here. And then gently release. Extend the arm back out. We'll slowly inhale back to center. And as we exhale, uncross the leg. Hugging the left knee into the chest. Give it a nice little squeeze. We're going to rest the left ankle just above the right knee. Figure 4. Draw the toe toward the knee. Press that left knee away from the body. Grounding the lower back. We're going to lift the right foot off the ground. Shin parallel to the ceiling. Interlock fingers. Or wrap our strap around the back of that right hamstring. As we inhale, walk those shoulder blades together, and as we exhale, draw the right knee a little bit closer toward the face as we press that left knee away from the body. So again, left knee pointed out to the left or even slightly forward. Keeping it here, keeping into that left hip, we're going to inhale, straighten the right leg up toward the ceiling, draw the toes toward the face, and then exhale, point the toes, and continue here with your own breath. And again, just notice how that feels comparing to the other side. Feeling that all the way up to just below the knee as we work movement in at the ankle joints. And exaggerate that movement as much as we can. Get a nice little stretch into the calf as we draw the toe toward the knee. We're going to create a few nice big circles to the right, trying to make them as round and as full as we possibly can, and just notice if there is any little bits of resistance to the movement. Slowly, slowly. Relax the shoulders, making sure that lower back is on the ground. We're going to reverse the circle opposite direction, and again, if it is too much in the hamstring, if we are feeling that stretch more behind the knee or near the sit bone, just soften that right knee. We can still work into the hip, and we can still work into those ankle mobilizations. Lower it right down. And then meeting back at center. Soften the right knee, allow the heel drop, release the strap if we have it. Still hugging the right knee in. We can stay here or maybe interlock the fingers in front of the right shin, but don't force the hip. Holding it, breathing for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the grip, release the foot to the ground. We're going to cross the left leg fully over, right? Extend both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. We'll shift the hips a little bit to the left and allow both knees drop over to the right, taking the gaze over toward the left fingertips. Shoulders are glued to the ground. Nice full belly breaths here. Maybe using that left leg to draw the right leg a little bit further across the body. Or even the right leg to draw the left leg a little bit further across the body. So using that connection. I'm just noticing how it feels. Noticing if we're twisting a little bit easier. Notice if the shoulders coming off the ground more so on one side than the other. So part of the spine on one side might be a little bit stiffer than the other. If we want to go further into the right hip and quad, we can walk the right foot a little bit further out to the left and maybe even reach to catch hold of the front of the foot, either with the hand or we can wrap a band or strap around the front of the foot. Breathing into that right hip now. Nice full belly breaths. Keep drawing the left knee across the body. Keep grounding that left shoulder to the mat. One more breath. And then release. Extend the arm back out. We'll slowly inhale back to center. And as we exhale, plant that left foot down to meet right. Setting up for a little bridge variation here. So we're going to reach for a block if we have it, placing the block between the knees. We're pressing the knees into the block. If we don't have a block or a block-like object, about a fist between the knees, and we're pressing the knees toward each other, but not to touch. See if we can brush the backs of the heels using those fingertips. We're going to press the feet into the ground, knees into the block, and gently inhale. Peel the lower, middle, upper back off the ground as we lift those hips high. We're going to walk the shoulder blades together underneath the upper back. Pressing hands, arms, shoulders, feet into the ground, lifting the hips, keep pressing the knees into the block. And again, I want you to imagine the space between your belly button and your heart center, and you're shrinking it. So really trying to engage with those frontal core muscles so we're not putting any compression or pressure into that lower back. We're going to keep holding our bridge. As we inhale, come high up onto the balls of the feet. And as we exhale, release. Inhale, lift the toes as we press the heels into the ground. Exhale, flatten the feet. And you're going to continue with your own breath, alternating between balls of the feet and the heels. So we're mobilizing into the feet, the ankles. We're getting a nice little bit of core work here. Working into our adductors as we press those knees into the block. So noticing as we come up onto the balls of the feet, we're going to really feel that into the calves. As we press the heels into the ground, we're going to really feel that into the hamstrings. So again, working the whole posterior chain here with this little movement. Keep the hips lifted. If you need a little breather, take it, but try to come back in with form. Keep pressing those knees into the block, drawing that belly toward the chest, nearly there. And flatten the feet. We're going to slowly release all the way down to the ground. We'll leave that block off to the side for now. We're going to bring the feet the width of the mat apart or even wider if you need. We're going to allow those knees fall to touch. Pressing that lower back into the ground. We're going to open the arms into cactus arms. So nice 90-degree angles at the elbows. Make sure the hands are on the ground, even if it means bringing them out a little bit wider. We'll inhale here at center. And as we exhale, drop the knees all the way over to the right as we look over the left shoulder. Inhale back through center, exhale, knees drop to the left as we look over the right shoulder, and continue with your own breath. Same as we did seated, but now we're supported by the ground. We should be able to get a little bit deeper into the movement. We might feel that a little bit more into the front of the hip. We might even get a little bit into the ITB or even the TFL if we're working on it. Nice little mobilization of the spine, stretching into the sideways. Keep those shoulder blades grounded. And as we look over the opposite shoulder, we're getting a little bit into the upper spine and neck here too. Pressing those knees as close to the ground, if not all the way to the ground. And notice if they come a little bit easier on one side more so than the other. Seeing if we can paint a little picture with what is happening within our body this morning. Relax the breath. And finally, we're going to come back to center. We're going to bring those feet and knees together. We're going to do a little bit of core while we're here. So lifting the feet off the ground, shins are parallel to the ceiling. We're going to reach for a block if we have it, catching hold of the shorter ends of our block, and we're going to place it lengthways above both knees. And we're going to hook that block in place using both elbows. If we don't have a block, same position with the legs, and we're just going to rest the back of the head into the hands and draw those elbows toward the ground. Okay, so one or the other. Fingertips either to the side of the head, or we can lift from the chest and rest the head into the hands. So again, if we don't have the block, we're just lifting that chest. Imagining a piece of string attached to the heart center, drawing you toward the ceiling. Notice if the heels will drop. See if we can bring those shins parallel to the ceiling. We're going to inhale here, and as we exhale, straighten the right foot out, hovering it off the ground. We're going to hold it for the first one. Anywhere between 30 and 45 degrees. And we're going to make a few little hip circles. So now we're working into our core. We're also getting a little bit of mobilization into that right hip. See if we can make those circles a little bit larger. Keep pressing the lower back into the ground. Holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Bringing that right knee back into meet left. We're going to inhale here. And as we exhale, straighten the left leg out. Again, making sure that lower back is pressed into the ground. We're going to make a few little circles into that left hip. Actively pressing away through both heels. Those lower legs are getting a nice little stretch. Those upper legs are getting a nice little activation. Maybe reverse those circles. Not forgetting to breathe. Breathing deeply into the belly. If it's too much in the neck, try placing the tongue to the top of the mouth to help release those neck muscles. Otherwise, we can take the head and neck to the ground, even if it's just for a moment. And then knees back together. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, straighten the right leg out. Inhale back to center. Exhale, straighten the left leg out. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Continue with your own breath. Again, keep lifting from the chest. No stress in the head and neck. Keep pressing that lower back into the ground. Really feeling those core muscles switch on here. We'll do one more, both sides. Keeping that lower back on the ground. Last one. Excellent. Relax the head. Relax the feet, relax the block off to the side. Bring the feet the width of the mat apart, allow the knees fall to touch. Opening our arms into cactus, lower back is on the ground. We'll inhale at center. And as we exhale, drop the knees to the right as we look over the left shoulder. Inhale back through center, exhale knees to the left as we look over the right shoulder. So like we did before, just gently windscreen wiping those knees side to side, using the movement to really release into the body. And again, focusing in on that lovely full belly breath to release into the core. So we're literally stretching the core from the inside out using that lovely breath. And we'll come back to center. Bring the feet and knees together. We're going to hug the knees into the chest, crisscross the ankles. Options to make your way any way to seat, or you can rock and roll with me. Just the once we bring ourselves forward into a nice strong seat at the front of the mat. And here we're going to do a little bit more core. We're in for a treat this morning. We're going to bring the knees and feet together. We've got about a foot between the heels and the sit bones. See if we can place the hands to the shins, draw the chest forward and sit a little bit taller into the spine. So just notice if we're rounding, particularly into that upper back. We're going to press the chest forward and imagining a piece of string attached to the crown of your head, drawing you tall. we can stay here. That might be enough. Otherwise, we're going to bring the arms out in front, palms face each other. Knees and feet are together here. We're going to gently roll back, but try not to allow the spine round. So keep opening into the heart. Find a point out in front to focus our gaze and keep it there. We're going to start to feel a little bit lighter into the feet. So we come up onto the tippy toes. And again, we might stay here. We might alternate shins parallel to the ceiling. Maybe do a little flutter with the legs. But keep lifting from the chest, keep lengthening from the spine, maybe bringing both chins together. Drawing that belly in. If that feels good, we want to challenge it further. I want you to imagine you're holding a ball between the hands and we're going to lift that ball out front. We're going to inhale here at center, and as we exhale, we drop the ball all the way over to the right, gaze follows. Inhale back to center, exhale, drop it all the way over to the left. Continue with your own breath. So we're just getting a little bit of torsion within the spine, bringing movement. So we're engaging a little bit more with those deeper, intrinsic, stabilizing muscles here. If you want to really challenge the movement, you can try drawing one knee in as we straighten the opposite, continuing with the movement. So kind of going back to our balance classes, the least points of contact on the ground, the more challenging it is. The more movement or change of focus, the more challenging it is. And feel free, we can still do the torsion with those toes on the ground. So again, just go into where you feel challenged. When that challenge becomes comfortable, go a little bit further. We're going to meet back at center. Crisscross and then gently pull forward and release. Well done. Release the head, release the neck, release the breath. Maybe give the head a little shake side to side. Maybe rock the hips a little bit side to side, getting a little more release into that lower back, softening the breath. And when you're ready, we'll tuck the chin, slowly walk the hands back toward the body until we're in a nice strong seat. We'll bring those hands out in front, shifting the body weight forward so we can step back onto the knees, and we're going to find ourselves at the center of our mat in a nice strong tabletop. Shoulders over, elbows over wrists, elbow creases face forward, fingers widely spread. Knees hip width distance apart, hips are stacked over knees, toes can be tucked or untucked. And just notice if the belly is collapsed in the middle here, see if we can draw the belly button in, really engage with those lower back muscles. We're going to inhale, take the gaze forward and up as we arch the spine. Exhale, press into the ground, curl through the spine, take the gaze back to the belly. Inhale, gaze goes forward and up, arching the spine. Exhale, press into the ground, curl through the spine, tuck the chin to the chest, and continue with your own breath. Nice strong cat-cow curls, the whole length of the spine here. Try to keep the hips stacked over the knees, try to keep the shoulders stacked over the wrists. So all that movement is more so into the spine than anything else. So we're not really sitting back toward the heels. Feel free to close the eyes. Just really engage with the movement. Getting lost with the breath. Nice and flowy, nice and natural. Trying to get rid of any rigidity within the movements. Just let it flow as much as we can. Nice and strong in the arms and shoulders. We're going to meet back in our tabletop. Tuck the toes under, walk the hands forward. We're going to sit all the way back toward the heels, pressing the ground away. See if we can sink the chest and head toward the ground, or we can rest the head onto a block or a cushion. Coming into a little child's pose variation here. Maybe just wriggle through the toes, get a nice little stretch into the arches of the feet. As we press the ground away, see if we can draw those sit bones back a little bit closer toward the heels. Melting the heart, feel that space between the shoulder blades. Keeping the hands pressed into the ground, we're going to look back between the toes, pressing feet and hands into the ground. We lift the knees and lift those hips as high as we can toward the ceiling. See if we can lower those heels down toward the ground. Looking back toward the knees, maybe toward the belly. Relax the head, relax the neck. As we press the ground away, see if we can draw the chest a little bit closer toward the mat. Lifting through the hips, lowering through the heels. We're going to gently paddle out the feet, allowing opposite heel melt softly toward the ground.
Noticing the breath, noticing if we're holding it. See if we can draw it a little bit deeper down into the belly. We're going to look forward between the hands and gently walk away to the front of the mat, coming through a lovely wide-legged forward fold. Bring those feet wider than the width of the mat apart, so that we can easily touch the ground in line with the big toes, with legs straight and a nice long spine. So take the feet a little bit wider, or we can use our block as a little extension of those arms otherwise. Left hand stays grounded in line with the big toes. We're going to inhale the right arm up and open the heart. Gaze follows up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left arm up and open the heart. Exhale, fold. Continue with your own breath. Weight is back into the heels and hips. So again, just see if we can wiggle those toes, pressing the hand into the ground to give ourselves a little bit more leverage into the twist. And just flow with the movement. So try to get rid of any rigidity, any stiffness. Allow the head and neck totally relax. Particularly as we exhale into the fold. Just allow the body totally relax there with the breath. Feeling that space into the lower spine. Depending on which arm is in the air, we're going to feel that a little bit more into the inner hip, one side more so than the other. And as we follow that hand up, we're getting a nice little bit of space into the heart and into that upper spine. Relax the breath. We'll take one more, both sides. Meeting in a nice relaxed forward fold. Allow everything hang out here, head, neck, arms, shoulders release. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out, let it go. And then gently tuck the chin. We're going to slowly, little by little, roll our way all the way up to stand. Head comes up last. And then we can heel toe those feet toward each other. Lovely. Take a little drink here if you need. We're going to go into our flow for the rest of the class. If you have a block or blocks, you can locate them toward the front edge of your mat. You may or may not meet this morning. So we're going to meet at the front. Feet nicely grounded, about hip width distance apart. We're going to start with a little bit of balance and mobilization into the hips. So feet are nicely grounded, arms by the sides, palms are open. We're going to find a point out in front to focus our gaze. Drawing the belly in, see if we can engage with those core muscles, relax the shoulders, grounding the left foot, really spreading through the toes. We're going to inhale, lift the right knee out in front. We bring those hands to heart. Now you can do this by a wall or chair if you need a little bit of help with that balance, because we want to work a wee bit into that mobility. We're going to inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to open that right hip so the knee comes out to the side. Inhale, we're going to lift the right foot up behind us. Exhale, drop the foot. Inhale, right knee out in front. Exhale, open the hip. Inhale, lift the back foot up. Exhale, lower the foot. Inhale, knee back out in front. Last round. Exhale, open the right hip. Inhale, lift the back foot. Exhale, drop the foot. Inhale, right knee out in front. We're going to soften the left knee and we're going to step all the way back onto the ball of the right foot, coming into a nice high lunge. Find stability here, and then we're going to frame the left foot. Keeping the right hand on the ground, we'll inhale the left arm up and open the heart. Gaze follows up. Exhale, left hand back to the ground. Dropping right heel down, engage the core up into our warrior. Extend the arms, palms face down. Softening into that left knee. Left knee, left foot point forward. Right foot parallel to the back edge of the mat. Left heel bisects the arch of the back foot. Relax the shoulders. Finding that left middle finger, we're going to follow it with the gaze. Inhale, straighten the left leg, arms together overhead, gaze goes up. Exhale, bend the left knee, open the arms, warrior lunge. Inhale, lengthen and rise. Exhale, warrior lunge. One more. Meeting in our warrior. We're going to inhale, straighten the left leg, keep it straight, and as we exhale, reach those fingertips as far forward as we can possibly go. Bringing the back of the hand to the inner leg, extend the right arm up, pressing the hips forward, drawing the shoulder back, take the gaze up, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to inhale the right arm all the way overhead, And as we exhale, bring the right hand down to meet left. We're going to inhale the right arm back up toward the ceiling. Nice big circle opening into the heart. And as we exhale, right hand comes back down to meet left. We'll do that twice more. Nice big circles, trying to draw that right shoulder all the way back. We might follow that hand with the gaze if we want to challenge the balance. Last one. Meeting with the right hand to the left. All together, we're going to inhale all the way back up. And as we exhale, bend the left knee, open the arms, warrior. Cartwheeling both hands down either side of the left foot, coming onto the ball of the right. We're going to rest the right knee down. Cushion it if you need. We'll inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart as we soften into the hips. Try to keep that left knee stacked over the heel. We're going to open those arms into our cactus. Find a point out in front to focus your gaze. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Touch the fingertips down as we draw the toe toward the face. If it's too much of a reach, too much in the hamstring, we can use blocks or stacks of books and touch the hands down onto that. Exhale, bend the left knee, open the arms, cactus lunge. Inhale, lengthen forward, touch the fingertips down, draw the toe to the face. Exhale, bend the left knee, open the arms, cactus lunge. Two more. Pressing that left heel into the ground, so we're keeping the hamstring engaged. And the gaze is forward all the time. Last one. We're going to meet in our cactus lunge. Framing the left foot will come off the knee. Gently shifting the body weight forward to lift the right foot up to meet left. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Same on the opposite side. So again, if you need to locate yourself near a wall or a chair for the first bit, feet nicely grounded, hip width distance apart, arms are by the sides, palms are open, shoulders relaxed, drawing the belly in, lengthening through the spine. Find that drishti point, that point of focus, grounding the right foot firmly into the mat. We're going to inhale, lift the left knee out in front, bringing those hands to heart, or we can use the support. Inhale here, and as we exhale, open the left hip, keep the hips faced forward. Inhale, pick the left foot up behind. Exhale, drop the foot. Inhale, left knee out in front. Exhale, open the hip. Inhale, lift the back foot. Exhale, lower the foot. Inhale, knee out front. Last round. Exhale, open the left hip. Inhale, lift the back foot. Exhale, lower the foot. Inhale, left knee out in front. And as we exhale, soften the right knee. We're going to step back onto the ball of the left foot. Nice high lunge. Take your time, find stability, and then we frame that right foot. Left hand stays in the ground. We're going to inhale the right arm up and open the heart. Gaze follows up. Exhale, right hand to the ground. Dropping left heel down, engage the core. Up into our warrior, opposite side, extend the arms, palms face down. Softening into that right knee, drawing those inner thighs toward each other, drawing the belly in. Looking toward the right middle finger. Make sure that right knee, right foot are pointed forward. Inhale, straighten the right leg, arms together, overhead, gazes up. Exhale, bend the right knee, warrior lunge. Two more. Nice and strong, really pressing those feet firmly into the ground, rooting our foundation. Last one. Meeting in our warrior, we're going to inhale, straighten the leg, keep it straight. And as we exhale, work those fingertips as far forward as we can go. Bring the back of the hand to the inner leg, extend the left arm up. Notice that the bum's popped out behind. I want you to really press those hips forward, even if it means bringing that right hand up the leg a little bit. Drawing that left shoulder back, looking up for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale the left arm all the way overhead, brushing past the ear. And as we exhale, bring that left hand down to meet right. Inhale, left arm back up toward the ceiling. Nice big circle, open the heart. And as we exhale, left hand comes back to meet right. Continue. Inhale, left arm back up toward the ceiling. And as we exhale, left hand comes back down to meet right. Last one. Trying to keep the heart open. We're really engaging with that left shoulder. And then exhale all the way back down. Inhale all together, all the way back up. And as we exhale, bend the right knee, open the arms, warrior lunge. Cartwheeling both hands down, either side of the foot, coming onto the ball of the left. We'll soften the left knee, cushion it if you need. It could even be rolling up a corner of the mat. We're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. And as we exhale, hands to heart, we're going to sink into the hips. Again, notice if we're pressurizing that lower back, really drawing the belly button in here. Opening the arms into our cactus, engaging with those shoulders. Find our point to focus our gaze and keep it there. Inhale, straighten the right leg, draw the toes toward the face, touch the fingertips down. Exhale, bend the right knee, open the arms, cactus lunge. Inhale, lengthen forward. Keep pressing that right heel strongly into the ground. Exhale, bend the right knee, cactus lunge. 2 more. Again, not overstretching that hamstring. Keep pressing the heel into the ground so we're keeping those muscles engaged. Last one. Meeting in our lunge, we're going to frame the right foot. Coming off the left knee, we'll shift the body weight forward to lift the left foot up to meet right. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a drink if you need. Again, we're going to meet at the front of the mat when you're ready. Feet nicely grounded, hip width distance apart, arms by the sides, palms are open, belly drawn in, grounding that left foot. We're going to inhale, lift the right knee out in front, bringing those hands to heart center. As we exhale, we're going to bring the right foot behind us, keeping the body straight if we can. And then we're going to rotate the right hip open and we're going to create a nice big circle. So we're going to do our cars, but we're going to do it on a standing leg. So nice big circles. Bringing that leg as far back as we can, keeping the right knee bent. And again, if you need the wall or the chair to support the movement. So like sometimes we do this one on all fours and we're imagining a box out to your right and you're trying to draw the knee and foot up, over and around that box. This time we're bringing an extra little challenge of our balance into the movement. We'll do one more circle. Again, if we fall, just come back in. We're going to meet with that right knee out in front. Soften the left knee and we'll step the right foot all the way back into our high lunge. Take your time here. Framing the left foot. Right hand stays grounded. We'll inhale the left arm up and open the heart. Exhale, left hand to the ground. Dropping right heel down, engage the core up into our warrior. Extend the arms, palms face down. Softening into those hips, drawing the inner thighs toward each other. Inhale, straighten the left leg, arms together overhead, look up. Exhale, bend the left knee, warrior. 2 more. Following that left middle finger with the gaze if you want to challenge the balance. Last one. Meeting in our warrior, we're going to keep the left knee bent this time. Rest the right hand on the back leg. Inhale, left arm up, flip the palm as we exhale, reach the left arm to the back of the room, either looking over the shoulder or up toward the left middle finger. What often happens here is that left leg starts to straighten. I want you to bend into the left knee. We're still in our warrior for 3. Opening for 2. And 1. Inhale back to warrior center. And as we cartwheel both hands down either side of the left foot, coming onto the ball of the right, we're going to walk the finger pads about half a foot out in front. Gently shift the body weight forward to lift that right foot toward the ceiling. Keeping the fingertips either to the ground, a chair or the wall. See if we can straighten the left leg, use a block if we need. We're going to bend the right knee and open that right hip. And again, we can stay here, or like we did standing, we can start to make those lovely big circles into the hip with a bent knee. So again, lots of mobilization into those hips this morning. Quite a lot of strength here. So still bringing that balance. Last one. And then we'll bring that right foot down to meet left. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center, hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Last side. When you're ready, feet nicely grounded, hip width distance apart, arms are by the sides, palms are open, shoulders relaxed, breath relaxed. Draw it a little bit deeper into the belly. Find that focus point and keep your gaze fixed. Grounding the right foot into the mat. We're going to inhale, lift the left knee out in front, bringing those hands to heart center. And again, use the wall or chair if you need, because I do want you to get that mobilization. So if we're not getting the balance, we're getting that mobilization either way. We're going to open the left hip. We're going to keep the knee bent, and then we'll start to draw those nice big circles into the left hip. Again, like we did on the other side, try to imagine a really tall box out to your left. We're trying to draw the knee and the foot up, over and around. So again, really great for our hip mobility, our stability, and our balance here. So lots of stuff happening. Try to keep that gaze focused out in front. It's going to help with your balance. Keeping that left knee bent. Trying to make those circles a little bit larger if you can. And just notice if it feels a little bit more challenging than it did on the other side. Eventually we meet with that left knee out in front. Pause. We'll soften the right knee and step back into a nice high lunge here. Find stability, and then we'll frame the foot with both hands. Left hand stays grounded. We'll inhale the right arm up and open the heart. Exhale, right hand back to the ground. Drop the left heel down, engage the core up into our warrior. Extend the arms, palms face down, softening into the hip. Inhale, straighten the right leg, arms together overhead, look up. Exhale, bend the right knee, open the arms, warrior. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen and rise. Exhale, warrior. Last one. Meeting in our warrior. Keep the right knee bent. We'll rest the left hand on the back leg. Inhale, right arm up, flip the palm. And as we exhale, reach the right arm to the back of the room, looking over the shoulder or up toward that right middle finger. That left hand is just rested for 3. Bending into the right knee for 2. And 1, inhale back to warrior. And as we exhale, cartwheel both hands down, either side of the foot, coming on to the ball of the left. We'll walk the finger pads, half a foot out in front. Gently shift the body weight forward till we can lift that left heel toward the ceiling. Coming up onto the fingertips, up onto a block. See if we can straighten that right leg. We can use a chair, we can use the wall, a table. And again, I want you to keep the balance, but I also want you to get that hip mobility. So if you need to catch hold of anything, please do. We're going to bend the left knee, open the left hip. And again, we're going to start to draw those lovely big circles into the left hip. Relax the breath, relax the head, relax the neck. Nice big circles. Each circle might get a little bit bigger than the last. And eventually we'll bring that left foot down to meet right. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center, hands extended up, palms together. Last little flow. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. We can either step or lightly jump back to plank, landing as softly as we can, meeting in our plank. Inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground, elbows in. Roll the heart forward, untuck the toes. Press the feet into the ground as we lift the heart open. Exhale, tuck the toes. Press the ground as we lift the hips. Downward dog. And we're going to finish with a pigeon pose this morning, or our 90 degree legs if the knees aren't feeling it. We're going to inhale the right leg back and up, looking forward. We bend the right knee and we're going to bring it to the ground just behind that right wrist. Resting the left knee down, we'll untuck the toe and we're going to shift that left leg back as far as we can until we start to feel a nice little release into the hips. Drawing the right toe toward the right knee, and we can bring that chin 30, 45 degrees, whatever feels good. Once we're not putting any pressure on that knee joint, We can bring those hands back in line with the body and try to find our base here. So if we find we're falling over to the right, see if we can shift the body weight over to the left. And ideally, we should be able to stay here with the hands off the ground so we can trust that hip structure. If we can fall forward. Otherwise, I'm going to encourage you to stay here in your proud pigeon. Sinking into the hips, maybe walk those hands forward, maybe coming onto the forearms. That might be enough. Maybe walking the hands forward a little bit more and resting the forehead down toward the ground, toward the block, or we can make a little pillow by piling one hand, one fist on top of the other. Just notice if we're collapsing over to the right, see if we can press that left hip a little bit further toward the ground. And again, if we're feeling this into the knees, keep drawing the toe toward the knee if we're still feeling it. Come into your 90-degree legs that we did earlier. We can still work into that lovely hip opening. We're just not going quite as deep into the joints. Relaxing with the breath. Every inhale, think about creating space in the spine, whether we're seated or folded. And every exhale, sink the hips. Softening the breath, allowing the breath, the gravity and the weight of your body bring you a little bit deeper. So again, try not to hold the pose, more so that we're releasing into the pose with this one. Getting a little bit deeper into the fascia. So that's that tissue that holds all our muscles, ligaments, bones, tendons, works in sheets all around the body. So by us releasing just into one part of the body, we might find that we've released into another part without even realizing. So everything is connected. Relax the breath, relax the heart, relax the belly, relax the hands, the fingers. Noticing if we're gripping. Relax the face. Last couple of breaths on this side. When you're ready, we'll tuck the chin, slowly walk the hands back to the front of the mat. We'll tuck the left toe under, come off the knee, and really slowly, we're going to bring the right foot back to meet left, lift the hips and walk it out in our downward dog. And just notice that right heel. Often after our pigeon, we should find that that right heel goes to the earth a little bit easier. So just notice that within your own body. We come to stillness. Inhale the left leg back and up, looking forward. We're going to bend the left knee, place it to the ground behind the left wrist. Rest the shin down, rest the right knee down. We'll untuck the toe and walk it as far back as we can on that right foot. Hands are back by the body, left toe drawn toward the knee, and we can adjust that shin wherever we feel comfortable and we get that release without putting too much pressure on that knee joint. Staying here nice and high in our proud pigeon, sinking those hips. When we feel stable, and again, notice if we're compressing the lower back, keep it trying to draw that belly in. We might stay here, or we might come down onto our forearms, lengthening through the spine. We might walk the hands forward out in front, melting the forehead to the ground, to the block, or piling one hand, one fist on top of the other. And again, just softening into that left hip, noticing if we've collapsed over to the left. See if we can press that right hip a little bit closer toward the ground. And again, just going to a place that feels good for you here this morning, not forcing it. And just because you went deep on one side doesn't mean the other side wants to do the same. So again, respecting and acknowledging any imbalances, definitely something to keep an eye on, something to work on, but not forcing it. Just seeing where the body is at this morning. Easing into it with the breath, with the weight of the body. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper on each exhale. And again, no pressure into that left knee joint. Take your 90 degrees if it's not feeling it this morning. Softly, softly. And again, we could stay here for a lot longer. After about half a minute, we're not getting a massive physiological response, but we can definitely get a nice little switch off, a nice restorative response for the body. Feeling that release. We'll take one more nice full breath here. Again, tuck the chin, Bringing those hands back out in front from wherever they were. We'll tuck the right toe under, come off the knee, and really slowly bring the left foot back to meet right. We'll walk it out nice and easy. Inner downward dog. And again, just notice here if that left heel drops a little bit easier. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but just checking in with the body, how it feels. Relax the head, relax the neck, maybe bring a little swagger into our walk, maybe look out underneath opposite armpits. So just getting a little bit of blood flow, energy back into all the limbs. And we're going to come to stillness. We release down onto the knees, bring the big toes to touch and gently sit back toward the heels, making a little pillow by piling one hand, one fist on top of the other. And just gently rocking those hips side to side, releasing any last little bit of tension in the lower body. Maybe rocking the head a little bit side to side. Sinking the chest, sinking the belly. Nice full belly breaths. And just for a moment, come into stillness. And being okay with that stillness. Noticing our breath. Noticing our body on the ground. Becoming conscious of what's around you. We're going to gently press the hands into the ground, tuck the chin toward the chest and walk those hands back toward the knees until we're sitting all the way back up onto the heels. We can finish the practice here, bringing the knees together. We can come back into easy cross-legged or any other seat that feels better for you this morning. Get nice and comfortable, nice and long in the spine, nice and open into the heart. And relax the breath. We'll open the palms to the ceiling. And then inhale both arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to the ceiling as we exhale. Press the palms forward, release the breath, sigh it out and let it go. We'll do that 2 more times. Nice big stretch. And release. Gently bring the hands to heart, press the palms together, close down the eyes, and just thank yourself for creating a little bit of space in your day to come to the mat, to look after yourself, to create some lovely energy, some lovely movement and release, and hopefully take that with you into the day and into the rest of the week ahead. Thank you for sharing your practice and your energy with me. Namaste.